Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 5 and we will present Herbal lipstick. Next is our group member. My name is Anis Nur Alani binti Yusri. My members is Nurul Syafiqah, Nur Ifa Sofia, Nabila Farhana, Nur Ain Fatihah and Aina Syuhada. I will explain the supply chain design of hibiscus herbal lipstick. The supply chain starts with raw material sourcing, where hibiscus flower, natural oil, and wax are obtained from trusted supplier and local farmer. All materials are inspected before production to ensure quality and safety. Next is manufacturing process. The ingredients are prepared, melt, mix, blend, and pour into mold to form the lipstick. After cooling, the product are packed and undergo quality control check. The finished product are then stored in a temperature control warehouse using the FIFO system to maintain product quality and proper stock management. After that, the product are distributed to retailer and online platform using suitable transformation method. Finally, the herbal lipstick reach customer, especially consumer who prefer natural and chemical-free cosmetic product. Thank you.
Hi dan Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Ifa Sofia. My matrix number is AN240119. So for my part, I will be presenting the part 2 of QAQC risk identification for our herbal lipstick product. In this section, we are going to identify possible risks during production that may affect product quality and safety. We also relate these risks to HACCP and also GMP requirements. So, for our first stage, which is raw material sourcing, we identify the risk is supplier fraud, which happens when the supplier provides low quality materials, fake ingredients, or contaminated substances. For example, there is a risk of receiving toxic substances such as diethylene glycol or incorrect active ingredients. This can seriously affect product safety and may cause harmful effects to consumer. So what is the GMP and HACCP relevance to this risk? So to control this risk, CGMP element 5 states that suppliers must be evaluated, approved, and continuously monitored. So this means that the company must choose reliable suppliers, inspect the certificates and documentation, and also test incoming raw materials before use. Okay, so for stage number 2, which is manufacturing process, the risk that we identify during this stage is process drift. Process drift means there are unwanted changes or variation during production. So what is the impact on our quality product? So this may cause noticeable variation in critical parameters, inconsistency between batches, and unstable product quality. So for example, one lipstick batch may be too soft, and while another batch may be too hard or uneven in color. So this can affect the product performance and customer satisfaction. So the GMP or HACCP relevant is that to reduce this risk, CGMP Element 6 requires validated production control procedures. This means manufacturers must follow standardized procedures, monitor temperature and mixing conditions, and ensure all workers follow the correct process consistently. So for the last part, for my part, which is stage 3, is manufacturing environment. So we identify the facility cross-contamination to be the risk during this stage. So what is the impact on quality? This can happen due to the cracks in the walls or the floors, poor sanitation, and also unclean production areas. This condition may harbor microbes, dust, or contaminants. As a result, the herbal lipstick may be contaminated, affecting both quality and consumer safety. So to control this risk, CGMP Element 3 states that the building and facilities must be properly designed and maintained. This includes maintaining clean production areas, preventing contamination, and ensuring sufficient space and proper sanitation. To conclude my part, QAQC risk identification is important to ensure the herbal lipstick produced is safe, consistent, and high quality by identifying risk in raw material sourcing, manufacturing process, and manufacturing environment. The company can apply proper GMP and HACCP to controls and prevent contamination, inconsistency, and product failure. This helps protect consumers and maintain product quality standards. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rushafika binti Dr. Faizali and my number matrix AM240071. I will explain part 2, which is the QA/QC risk identification. This section focuses on identify the possible MAC during the production and also the distribution process, the impact on the product quality and the relevant GMP and HACCP principle. The first stage is the packaging and labeling, where the maris is labeling mix up. This can cause the income, batch number or expiry date, which may contribute the end user and affect the product safety. According to CGMP Element 7, label must be physically separate during the storage to prevent store. So next, the second stage is the storage and the warehouse. The identified list is called chain failure. If the temperature is not properly controlled, the sensitive ingredient may degrade and reduce the product quality and effectiveness. HACCP principle synthesize, establish and monitoring critical limits to ensure the product remains safe and stable during the storage. And lastly, in the distribution stage, the main risk is traceability failure. Incomplete product records or batch information can make the product recall difficult and delay corrective action. If the problem occurs based on the CGMP element 6, proper hold and distribution procedure are important to maintain the full traceability of all products throughout the supply chains. That's all from my part. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I'm Nabila. So now, I will explain the main component of ethics and professional responsibility in the cosmetic manufacturing process. So this slide highlights two common ethical scenarios that may happen during production and purchasing, along with their responsibilities, action and also possible consequences. So for the first scenario is the supply fraud during raw material purchasing. So this happens when a supplier provides fake, contaminated or low quality raw material. And this is a serious ethical issue because unsafe material can directly affect consumer safety. As a manufacturer, our responsibilities is to follow CGMP requirement and ensure that all the suppliers are transparent and trustworthy. To handle this issue, we need to audit the supplier, verify their certificates of analysis or COA, and reject any material that are not approved. If this problem is ignored, it can lead to product contamination, allergic reaction, product recalls, and also even lawsuit against the company. So for the second one, which is manufacturing process drift. So this occurs when important parameters such as temperature, pH or processing condition deviate from the standard setting. Even small changes can affect the quality and the consistency of the products. Our responsibility is to strictly follow the standard operating procedure or SOP and comply with CGMP requirements. This appropriate action is to continuously monitor critical parameter and stop production immediately if the process become non-compliant. And if no action has taken, the consequences may include inconsistency product quality, to customer complaints and also regulatory violations. So for the next one, which is in manufacturing facilities, cross-contamination can happen when equipment, surfaces or production areas are not cleaned properly. So this become an ethical issue because poor cleaning practices may cause microbiological contamination which can affect product safety and also consumer health. So the main responsibility of the company and workers is to maintain proper facility hygiene and also cleanliness in all times. This includes following standards operating procedure, ensuring equipment is sanitized, and also keeping the production environment clean and safe. To prevent this issue, several actions should be taken. First, regular sanitation must be carried out to reduce contamination risk. Second, routine inspection should be performed to check the cleanliness and also compliance with hygiene standards. And lastly, continuous monitoring is important to ensure the facility remains safe and also contamination free throughout the production processes. If this issue is not controlled properly, basically the consequences can be serious. Contaminated product may increase the risk of infection to consumers. especially in food or pharmaceuticals industries. In addition, the company may suffer reputation damage and also loss of customer trust, financial losses, and possible legal action.
My name is National binti Zambi. I will proceed to the next point. The next scenario is labeling mix-up during packaging. This happens when the wrong labels are placed on products during packaging. The ethical issue is the incorrect labels may mislead consumers. For example, the ingredients, instruction, warning, or expiry dates may be incorrect. This is dangerous because consumers depend on labels for safe product use. Some people may have allergies or medical conditions, so wrong information can seriously affect their health. The professional responsibility of the company is to ensure accurate labeling and proper traceability. Every product should be labeled correctly so consumers receive complete and truthful information. The actions need include verifying labels carefully, checking batch number, and confirming all packaging details before products are released to the market. If companies fail to do this, the consequences may include product misuse, product recalls, legal penalties, and regulatory action from authorities. Overall, this slide shows the ethical responsibility in manufacturing and packaging is very important to protect consumer safety, maintain product quality, and build trust between companies and consumers. The next scenario is a cold chain refers to maintaining products at the correct temperature during storage and transportation. Some cosmetic or skincare products contain active ingredients that can become unstable if exposed to excessive heat or incorrect temperature. The ethical issue here is improper storage that affect product stability and safety. If products are not stored properly, their quality may decrease, ingredients may break down, and the product may no longer be safe or effective for consumers. The professional responsibility of the company is to maintain proper storage conditions and monitor temperature regularly throughout transportation and storage. The actions companies should take include monitoring temperature system, using refrigerated storage when necessary, and taking corrective action immediately if temperature problems occur. If company fail to manage this properly, the consequence can include product deteriorations, unsafe product, financial loss, and risk to consumer health. The next scenario is distribution traceability failure. Traceability means the ability to track products from manufacturing until they reach consumers. The ethical issue here is poor record management, which can delay recalls and investigations if defective products are found in the market. For example, if consumer report harmful reactions, company must quickly identify which batch are affected. The professional responsibility is to maintain complete and accurate distribution records. The actions needs include implementing batch tracking system, recording distribution details properly, and maintaining update database. Without proper traceability, company may face public health risks, delayed product recalls, and regulatory violations. In conclusion, ethical responsibility in distribution and storage is essential to ensure product quality, consumer safety, and compliance with industry regulations. Companies must practice honesty, accountability, and proper monitoring at every stage of their product process. In conclusion, ethics and professional responsibility are essential in the cosmetic and beauty industry because they help protect consumer health, maintain product quality, and ensure companies act responsibility and professionally at every stage of production and distribution.
Next, I will present the decision-making scenario. The critical situation selected is the use of expired raw material due to FIFO system failure during the production of hibiscus herbal lipstick. For this situation, the decision is to stop production immediately and prevent the affected product from being released to the market because product safety and quality must be always prioritized. This decision is justified based on several factors. First, expired ingredient can reduce quality and stability. Second, using the expired material violates GMP requirement. Third, it increases HACCP hazards such as contamination and chemical degradation. Besides that, the product may cause irritation or allergic reaction to consumer. Lastly, it may lead to product recalls, legal penalty, and damage to the company reputation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Noor Fatihah binti Azazli, and I will explain about integrated QFC and ethic framework for the production of our hibiscus herbal lipstick. So this framework is the backbone of our operation, ensuring that every product we release is safe, consistent, and ethically manufactured. So to manage a complex supply chain from the hibiscus farmer to the end user, we rely on three core pillars, which is first GMP to ensure our process is consistent, second HACCP to prevent consumer harm, and then finally our integrated ethical approach to ensure that we remain transparent and accountable even when mistakes happen. So now let's dive into our first pillar, good manufacturing practice or GMP. So this is how we ensure that every batch of lipstick is identical and free from process drift. So first, standardization and workforce. Consistency starts with our people. We strictly enforce standard operating procedures SOPs for every stage from melting the beeswax to mixing the hibiscus pigment. But SOPs are only as good as the people using them. That is why we provide regular training on natural ingredient properties and the critical FIFO, first in, first out, inventory system to prevent the use of expired materials. And then calibration and documentation. To support our staff, we perform weekly equipment calibration on our melting vats and pH meters. Furthermore, every single tube of lipstick is recorded in a batch manufacturing record (BMR) that create a paper trail of real-time data that allowing us to catch error before a product ever leave the facility. So while GMP focuses on the process, our second pillar, HACCP, focuses on the hazard, and it is our primary tool for consumer protection. So first, risk identification and control. Through hazard identification, we target biological risks like microbial growth and chemical risks like oil oxidation. We manage this through critical control points, CCPs. For example, our receiving team tests all raw material for purity, and our production team monitors melting temperature to ensure they are high enough to kill microbes without damaging the hibiscus pigment. And then monitoring and decision logic. So we don't leave safety to chance. Continuous sensor monitor our warehouse 24/7, and if a cold chain failure occurs, our decision-making protocol is instantly triggered. As we discussed in our case study, if a limit is exceeded, we halt production and quarantine the stock immediately to protect the public. And finally, we have the ethical breach. This is where technical quality meets professional responsibility. So first, supplier integrity and tracking. So ethic begins with our suppliers. We go beyond just checking paperwork. We conduct annual audits of our farmers to prevent supplier fraud and ensure we are not using toxic or fake ingredient. This is supported by our digital traceability system, which link every barcode back to the original lot of raw materials. If a safety issue is found, we can execute a rapid recall within hours. And then accountability mechanism. So the final piece of our framework is the ethical reporting mechanism. We have established a whistleblower channel that allow any staff member to report deviation, like a failure in the FIFO system without fear of reprisal. So this ensure transparency and allow us to fulfill our duty of care to the health conscious consumer who trust our brand. So in conclusion, by integrating GMP, HACCP, and professional ethics, we don't just make lipstick, but we build trust. So that's all from us. Thank you.